A multimedia project, and I'm going to be presenting to you some important facts of individuals who affect what we do today. Now we have William Teckonomy. Now I might be saying his name wrong, but please bear with me. Wilson was actually for political administration. He did a public study in 1887 of the study of administration, and one of his big things was he wanted to separate politics from administration. And he kind of gave an example of, can we ask the same question we ask a politician and an administrator? I do know that a lot of people do not know what a public administrator is. So what is it? So public administration is actually an organization that deals with government policies and programs. So one of the examples or a couple of things I can give you what's a public administrator will be HR. HR stands for human resources. We have our city managers. We have the head of the city. Another example is we have the budget director. Another one people didn't really know. Well, I don't know if they do know or not, but we have the state mental health director. And these guys play a role that is very crucial to our livelihood. They deal with making policies, making laws. And William was really big on it, and he's big on separating the two and, keeping them both in their particular field of business. Now, the next person I would like to discuss is Frederick Taylor. Now, Frederick Taylor had a big theory of science and management. He had a scientific and management theory where he wanted to study the workflow. He wanted to improve the objectives. So you think about workflow area, you think about the interaction between a manager and his associate, the interaction between an associate and another associate, the interaction between the human resources department of a business and the associate. So he wanted to improve the financial stabilities of it. He wanted to improve the productivity of a workflow. And what I mean by productivity of a workflow is the maybe the product that they bring in a warehouse. For instance, Amazon. Amazon deals with a lot of other businesses where they have trucks come to their warehouses that drop off for workload. And from that warehouses, they send the work out to other Amazon warehouses. So if you think of Taylor Scientific Management, he will want to improve the flow of that, the flow of a business, to improve its atmosphere, to improve its numbers. And so he was really big on that, which I think is a very good theory, and I feel like it does the Taylorism, which they call it, still affects us today. I think he has his theory shows how to start a business, how to recruit, how to keep a business, and that overall language, that overall body flow, keeping it structured, keeping it standardized so where it can be long term instead of short term. And continuing on about the Taylorism, I can go on to say, just think of the big interaction, interaction and making a business successful, interaction between having a positive relationship between a manager and its associates. I think that the Taylorism idea does affect, how a business is run, how it should be run, how to keep things in order. If a business is treating its associates horrible, they're going to have a lot of people quitting. They're not going to be able to make their numbers. They're not going to be able to, know how to keep its workers. And the best way you can keep a worker is having that positive workflow, making everyone feel like they're a team instead of making them feel like they're beneath their manager. If the manager makes their associate feel that they're so important to their business, then that associate will come to work every day prepared and ready to work. anyone who doesn't like their job, they're not going to give their 100% go, because one, they don't like their job, two, they don't like their boss, because it could be, a bad person, or they don't know how to talk to someone. And a lot of cases, I do think that a lot of people don't like their job because management is just be off. And once the management off, they lose the associates, they lose the idea of the business that they once had. Now, the next people I would like to, not a person, people I like to discuss is Luther and Lionel Ulrich. Now, Luther and Lionel Ulrich were big on the 7 major functions of management. Now, we have planning, we have organizing, we have staffing, directing, coordinator, reporting, and budgeting. And these are supposed to be the 7 crucial things to make a business successful. They actually came with the idea, their theories well known in 1937. And they wrote a paper on the science of administration. Now, the next person I want to discuss is Mac Weber. Mac Weber believed in the 3 components of stratification. He believes like class, status, and power. Now, he believed that buoyancy was a pro and cons. He believed that buoyancy can stop individual freedom, and that iron cage of rules and control can stop a person from being different in a workplace or in a group. Now, a bureaucracy is non-elective group or administration group where they're making policies. Now, the next person now we have Violetta's leadership. Now, she was a social worker and a management consultant, she's a full-time working woman. She was a pioneer for the theory and behavior organization. She felt that true leaders created group power versus individuality power. She's known for the mother of modern management, which I thought was amazing. And she wanted to improve the space areas and of the workplace and how you socialize in a workplace and how that all affected each other. Now, the last person I'm going to talk about is Herbert Simon. Now, Simon believed in the bounded rationality. He believes that decision making is affected by so many different things. Some of those things are the cognitive limitation of someone's mind, the time that someone has in making the decision, the information that a person has or before they make a decision. And he believes that when someone is making a decision, they tend to overlook the important information that's needed to make the right decision. An example he always make is a decision. He said a decision can lead to so many alternative. It can lead to so many alternative. It can be so many alternative in making the decision, and this is the process of choosing that alternative that's going to result into an action. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for also being patient with me. And I hope that you could look and continue to follow these individuals and come up with a theory yourself and try to improve something.